White man in boxing led the Flair Cops. Shout out to GoodFellaSportsTV.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code GoodFella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you. Get 18% off. We out. All right, man. Gary Russell has some things to say. He did multiple interviews. He went live and he talked about Crawford. You know, they was in negotiations. Bob Arum killed that, according to one of the Ring TV writers, Ryan O'Hara. I put that screenshot on the screen. Hopefully I remember. He also said Shakur Stevenson ducked the fade, and he basically called Josh Warrington a bar fighter and said he would stay at 126 to fight him. But let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And you really got to be a knuckle dragger to get behind him, you know, fighting Crawford, and to say that Crawford is ducking Gary Russell Jr. Okay? I was listening to the Boxing Voice this morning, and I jumped on, and it just ain't been the same without Mike, right? And to be honest with it, I really don't watch it no more like I used to. You know, his first panel was Vic, Beeb, and those guys, and they had a good little vibe, and obviously things happen, and, you know, I'm not bringing up ancient history, but it's hard for a black man to watch a show where he's not represented on, all right? And as a fight fan, right? You hear people views and stuff of that nature, but, you know, at the end of the day, Ness, you know, this dude has a chin issue, this, that, and the third, talking about Crawford. Like, bro, just come out and say you want to suck the nigga dick. Just straight up and down. Just say, man, I want to get an interview and I want to suck his dick. Like dead ass serious, bro. Like, at that point, it's like you begging him for an interview, and then it's like, oh, fuck him, this, that, and the third. Like, you don't do Al like that. You know what I'm saying? Al don't give you no interviews. You don't get mad at Al. So at the end of the day, it's just hard to find good boxing content. You know what I'm saying? It's very few in between. You think that when they grow these new media platforms, that a lot of the new media guys, the vloggers, would be a little bit different. And they just the same as the old white writers, bro. There's no consistency. There's favoritism towards who give you interviews, who accommodate you, who buy you Uber ride. And it's just crazy to me that once this vlogging started, 10 years ago, a little bit later than that, they now became the same thing they swore they wouldn't be coming. That's kind of my issue with the whole little thing, though. But, you know, like I said before, it's knuckle draggers like Ness who will buy into Gary Russell's story, who will buy into Terence Crawford ducking Gary Russell. And there's no consistency because you can't monetize and make money off the man's name. He don't want to do an interview with you. It's okay. If the dude has a chin issue, then what do that got to do? What they have to do with, you know, fighting him then? They should fight him, They should fight him and knock him out. If Crawford ain't got no chin, let's see Errol Spence get in there and knock him out. Don't sit here and toot Errol Spence horn and everybody know in the world on wax behind the scenes that he the one that don't want to fight. But now they're going to use Gary Russell as the new shield. And I'm surprised the Thurman narrative ain't pumping as much as it was. Maybe, you know, people just know Thurman so much of a clown that they can't get behind it no more. So if you really think that Terence Crawford is ducking Gary Russell, you a fucking joke. You know what I'm saying? And people talk about Crawford chin, but don't talk about McGill Cotto. How many times was Cotto down on the canvas of hurting his career at 140? A hell of a lot of times. Trinidad on the canvas a lot. Pernell Whitaker, I believe, hit the canvas a few times. It happens. It happens, you know. But then again, you know, most people don't know nothing about boxing. But if you getting behind Gary Russell, you know, and saying that, oh, you should fight Terence Crawford, like, unsubscribe for me now, bro. Like, honestly, man, and I have love for Gary Russell, even met him. But this is what happened when somebody desperate. This was what happened when somebody, all before this, you didn't really see Gary Russell on social media talking. Gary Russell was just a product of being on Al Heyman's blacklist. He been blacklisted, not whitelisted. He been blacklisted. And for whatever reason it is, he know why he been blacklisted. He know why he can't get the fights. He know why they don't want to make Leo Santa Cruz. He talked about he will be welcome to fight Tank and Loma when we get there. That's on him. But when people get desperate, they want to drag other people down with them. And that's what he doing. You know, this what happen when you give an OG or somebody you put them desperate and they find the internet and they just start talking. Yeah, so at this point he just digging this hole deeper and deeper. And I got love for him, but sometimes you got to give people, you know, tough love, and he need to stop it. You're not jumping up to no 47. And even if you is, it's not in the budget. If you priced yourself off fighting Devin Haney, and whatever that number was, which I don't know what the number was, what you think you're gonna be asking for to fight Terence Crawford? The stars, the moon, the sun, and Saturn, and Pluto. So, you know, we know what it is, to be honest. So I'm not even gonna speak on it no more. But Ryan O'Hara said he reached out to Bob and he basically said that what the hell is he talking about? He couldn't even beat Lomachenko at his own weight. So we move on. He basically talked about Josh Warrington in this other video interview, and I'll link in the description of the source link. He said he a bar fighter. Josh Warrington only started saying his name when he had a fight already signed, and you know he said he a dude that lacks punching power and just comes forward and he'll beat his ass, he'll tear him up. I agree. He'll beat Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington lost to Kid Galahad. You know, Warrington ain't good at all. Let's just keep it 100. He's an in-shape street fighter. Not bad as Rolly, but, you know, he don't want to fight nobody. Them whole, you know, the whole Lee Selby, Josh Warrington, Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, you know what I'm saying? It's just the pussy unification of the UK right there. Only top dogs in the UK that take anybody on is Josh Taylor and Tyson Fury that I could think of. The rest of them dudes over there are some marks. And Josh Warrington part of the mark crew, you know. But he ain't really good. His style will beat some guys. I think his style will get Shakur Stevenson. It's more compatible with Shakur Stevenson. You know, a smother walk you down, but he don't have the power and the speed and he don't have the size to compete with Shakur Stevenson. So, or the physical strength. So that's why he ain't trying to fight him. He ain't trying to fight Gary Russell. So it's cool. You know, they offered him a big bag to come fight Shakur in the United States. He turned it down and then started to play the card. So, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, we can't just talk about the pussification of the UK. It's a lot of pussies in America, bro. You know, and that's just the God honest truth. There's a lot of dudes that want to fight. Gary Russell shouldn't have to be screaming for nothing. You know, and people talk about this black movement at PBC. Why would another black man, you know, treat another black man the way they treating Gary Russell? No matter if he lost to Lomachenko or what he said, we can get over that. You know what I'm saying? Me and my homeboys back in the day used to talk all types of shit. Square up, wrestle. At the end of the day, you know, we gonna be boys down the line. If you really my dog, we gonna be able to bury the hatchet. But like I said, Al Heyman just, you know, if it's true that he holding a grudge against Gary Russell with some other fighters, well, he need to hold that grudge against David Benavidez because, you know, what I heard is that motherfucker then that belt gonna cross the street. And I'll drop that video probably before this one. Or maybe I'll drop this one first. But that belt gonna cross the street. You know what I mean? So, I mean, ain't nobody really trying to hear that shit, man. I don't know what it is about Al, but it seemed like he very, very emotional as far as business. He, you know, and that's how Floyd is, how they did Mickey Bay. He got into it with DeJuan Blake and they shelved him over an issue. Like, who do that? What other brother starve another black man? Who do that? You know, they let these Mexicans and these whites go as they please, just like Floyd. You know, he let Badu Jack, we talked about it last night, he let Badu Jack get robbed versus Pascal, versus DeGale, versus Stevenson, but then he put his brand on the line for a little Cuban Rolly who can't even fight. Badu Jack more black than Rolly, and that's, you know, I'm just stating the obvious. That's just how they think, man. They got that they more Floyd and Al seem to be more threatened by niggas, dog. You know, I said what I said. You know, you just hating. I don't care what people think. I keep it a buck. You know what I'm saying? Look, Leo Santa Cruz went back to Golden Boy because that was the agreement. They was about to make Riggin down. Al come and drop the bag and get him out of Golden Boy contract. Like, come on. And he gonna start Gary Russell. What Gary Russell do? Cuss Floyd out? Okay. Grown men cuss each other out sometimes. We come to blows, but when business on the floor, business on the floor. If I was Gary Russell, I'd be taking my little money, going back to school, you know, going to do what I want to do. Plumbers make good money. Being an accountant, I think his career is going to come to a halt. A real quick halt. I think it has. If I was him, man, I'd be done with boxing. Fuck the politics. It's in your blood. You want to fight. But like I said before, Al Heyman told him that if he goes somewhere, he going to make it real bad on him. He'll never be able to make another dollar in the sport or whatever the fuck he told him that I heard. So it's at the point where, he can't really do much. But he went on and said he wanted Lomachenko, and Shakur Stevenson ducked him as well. He says, you never heard Shakur Stevenson said his name. Shakur said, he ain't looking to fight him, but he'll fight him. And then, I heard Gary brought up when they sparred a long time ago. And, Gary put it on him, but he was a kid. Shakur, 22 years old? Gary Russell, 32. So how long ago it was? You talking about beating up on a teenager or a kid and you a professional fighter, you supposed to do that. If you sparred Floyd and you was a teenager, he was a grown man, he was going to beat your ass, regardless of, height, size, or whatever it was. So, Gary Russell just desperate, bro. And Al Heyman has created this, and nobody talks about this. They talk about how black PBC is, but they don't talk about how they did Wilder, how they let Wilder get bamboozled, and they let Charles Martin run off with the IBF belt and give it to AJ. They don't talk about that, bro. They don't talk about how they doing Gary Russell. They gonna put Tank on the pedestal, and Tank is out here doing Lord knows what, disrespecting the game, and all you do is see Gary and his brothers work and be solid for the most part. But then again, you give in to this Negro stereotype of Gervonta Tank Davis and you pushing him. Come on. Get out of here. David Benavidez lost his belt in the skill. Let's see if Al Heyman hold a grudge on him. But as far as Shakur, man, I don't think it's cool to kind of, put him out there like that and you beat him up in sparring when he was a kid. So did Crawford beat his ass. But, with Shakur, it is what it is. He dropped his belt. He said he ain't never said nothing to me. Well, he said he'd be open to fight Gary Russell, but I don't think he wanted to fight Gary Russell. I think Gary Russell a really good fighter, but, if Shakur had to, would he have dropped his belt if they had ordered Gary in this hypothetical? Maybe he fight, maybe he don't. Who knows? But, Gary Russell desperate. He can't even get fights on this side of the street, so why he coming over the top rank trying to get fights? He want a rematch with Lomachenko. I mean, it is what it is. Loma coming back down, win, lose, or draw, so you can probably get the opportunity if Bob want to. I know Bob tried to sign Gary Russell to a contract and Al wouldn't let him go. People said, well, Gary said he a free agent. They just business partners. No, Al said that if he leave, he don't fuck with PBC, he goes somewhere else, that, he ain't gonna be able to make, he gonna make it bad for him. So I stand on that. But what's something else? I don't know if he owed PBC some money or whatever it may be, but 32 years old, him and Crawford in the same predicament. You would think they'd be scheming up on ways to try to get out their predicament, but hey, it is what it is. But, he also talked about fighting Devin Haney and wanting to fight Tank. Ain't none of those fights happening. So, for him, all he can do is keep his head up above the poverty line. If I was him, I'd be taking my money and trying to invest it into real estate, go back to school. I think his career has come to a halt. I think what's going to happen to Gary Russell is he's going to be inactive. He going to take a risk that he don't need to take, and he going to lose. You ain't going to hear from him again. He going to get beat up real, real bad. And that's my opinion on it. If they allow him to take the risk to 35, I heard he wanted to take the risk to 35 and jump. He really do want to do that to force Al and Al Hand to give him a better fight. But Al and them don't want him to jump with the 35. So if you're wondering why he hasn't jumped up in weight, it's pretty much because, I think Al Heyman don't want him to jump up in weight. So you ain't heard nothing about Gary Russell. You ain't hear no fights, fight schedule, nothing, bro. If they're gonna put him on a Showtime undercard, who knows? They got, Sean Porter and Sebastian Formella this weekend. And Saturday, I just learned through the grapevine that, Sebastian Fondor and Gallimore was gonna be the co-main event on BoxRec. There's no record of any undercard for that fight, per yesterday afternoon. So that was Sunday. So we have heard nothing about we heard about the Charlo undercard. They added Joel Casamore, the dude who beat Tite. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. He fighting an undefeated knockout artist as well too. So that's the best fight on that undercard. Other than that, you really ain't heard much. I think Ennis is gonna be on the Lubin and Boucher undercard. He ain't a PBC fighter though. So Gary Russell might be on the undercard. Keith Thurman said they pretty much booked for December. And he'd be probably coming back in January, possibly versus Kell Brook. So I don't know where maybe Gary Russell will be scheduled in January. But if I was him, man, I'll be tired of the politics. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much I'm getting money from Al or how much I love the game, I'll probably go to Al and I'll probably like, what is it going to take for me to be able to be free? For you to leave me the fuck alone and go wherever I need to go. How much money it's going to take to let me go? And that's what I just ask. Like, I just sit down to him and shoot the shit. Like, come on. You ain't doing shit. At some point, man, like, I just don't get it. Like, and maybe it's something that he not telling us. And maybe something he can't reveal what's really going on. But at some point, I just go to him like, how much is it going to take for me and my brothers to be free? That's what I would ask. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you got business questions, require sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App, PayPal in the description. Best way to donate is share the video and check our boxing news playlist. And I'll put that interview link in the description. One time we go.